Hello there, it's William here, and I want to show you Wusik Station AD. This is version Alpha 16B, and I have created a vector synth mixer, kinda like some other synths had, which allows you to create vector X, Y type of mixing. I'm going to show you, it's easier to show. So there are two ways to do the vector synthesis. One is using multiple samples with the sample player, or using multiple layers and just do vector synthesis with the layers instead. So we're going to start with the sample player instead. So I have the sample player here, and I'm going to load more than one sound. So this is going to be my first sound, and if I middle click in the waveform here, I can add more sounds directly. So I'm going to load 4 sounds, one for each corner of my XY mixer, and here you can see this plus icon that says samples vector XY mixer. Just click on it and turn on vector mixing. And now I have our vector mixer. If I press a note in here, since it's on the center, it's going to play all the sounds. But as I move away from the center and to the corners, it's going to play each of the corner sounds. So if I click here on the sound, I can see each corner has a different sound assigned. So if I play now, then you can understand a bit better what's going on. As I move this is kind of like a joystick, because the old synthesizers had a joystick for that. So as I move the joystick towards a corner, it's going to play that corner and fade out the other corners. But you also have middle sections like the left, right, top, bottom, the center, which is going to be on the center, so it only plays when the joystick is on the center, and as you move away from the center, it's going to fade out. And there's also a last one, that's the true. The true is going to play independently from the joystick, so it's going to ignore the vector mixer. So let's say I want to add another sound to my sample player here. Just middle click, and I'm going to select that one, and that one I'm going to put on the center. So I go over here on the center, I can select the voices, so the voice is on the center. Let's make it a bit easier to hear. So I'm going to edit the sound, the voices. So it's going to be the VS voices, and I'm going to put 2 octaves above, just so it's easier to hear. And I can also raise the volume. Now, as I move away from the center, and I can also record this movement. So if I click here on options and select record, the first time I click and hold is going to start recording until I release the mouse. And I have to play a note too, so the code processes the audio. And as I release the note, it stops recording and starts playing looped. So it's very easy to record. You can click on options again and see some of the other options, like a note on sync is going to restart the playback for every note. The spring loaded is going to always return to the center. So let me remove the record, clear. So I always return to the center. And if I want to automate this from my DAW, I just go here on X and Y and right click, select Add Automation. And now they are both going to appear in the list of envelopes that can be automated. So you can just create the two automations from there, or you can right click and select Learn a Controller. So let me assign a controller in here, and another controller for the Y, and I move the both at the same time. I have a controller here with two knobs. I can move the joystick. Let me try to do it with two hands. So that's very simple to do, and you can add as many sounds as you want, and you can see the sound icons. Each icon is for one corner or section of the vector mixer, and you can assign there. And on the options, there are also the type of mixing. Right now I'm on type 1. What the type 1 does, it just crossfades from one to another. So let's say here on, let me turn off the spring loaded. From this corner is going to play these sounds, FX sounds, and as I move away from the corner, is going to crossfade to 0. But the mixing type allows me to do different types of crossfading. So you just have to test and hear the different sound, because it's a bit hard to explain in terms of what I did on each of those. But they had a different type of sound on the way that they crossfade from one another. So type 1 is just a linear crossfader from one corner to another corner, or one section to another section. It just does that. So it's very simple in that term. And type 2 is going to create a crossfade from the middle to the section. So as I move away, and the other ones are more like exponential movements from one corner to another. So it will depend on what you want to create. You just have to test and hear the difference. The best thing is just to record something very round, and then as it playbacks, you just select different types of mixing. And that's it for the samples. So it's very easy to use. You just add a bunch of samples to the list of sounds in the sample player. Remember that you can right the middle click on the waveform here. If you click here on the name of the current sample, it says there, insert new sound, middle click. Replace current sound, right click. So it's just easier to just middle click here and select the sound. So now the other option, let me initialize my preset in here. The other option, I'm going to start with the sample player again, but I'm going to create 4 layers, because on each layer I can have a different type of sound and a different filter or whatever it is. So let me start with this one. Just going to create a very quickly target filter frequency random. Okay, so that's the first layer. Let me mute that first layer. Then I'm going to go to the layer B. I'm going to load the same sound, but let me try a different sound in here. Okay, so this sound, but I'm going to add an arpeggiator on this layer. Let me change the tuning. Okay, so my second layer. Let me mute it too. Then I'll go to layer C, that's the third layer. Another sound. And I'm going to also add an arpeggiator, but it's lower. But I have to change the tuning too. Let me mute that layer. Now I'll go to layer D and another sound. This is a good one. So now let's play all layers together. But now I'm going to activate the layer vector mixer, which is close to the layers here, effects, and this icon in here. So here's the vector mixer now activated. So it's very easy to use, and it works just like the samples vector mixer that I was showing before. So the difference that this one is for the layers, and you can add multiple layers and then assign each layer to a different section, like the left, right, and so on and on. I can also record. And I'm still working on this code. I would say it's 99% ready. The option to use multiple samples and the samples vector mixer, you also have an option to modulate from the envelopes. So it should be on the sampler, vector X and Y, and also from the LFO, sampler X and Y. And I'm also going to be working on having the option to modulate the layer vector mixer. Right now you can't modulate. You can only use the record option to record a movement, and it's going to play that movement. So that's something I still have to do. And the automation in here, it does work for the first time, but it's not saving on the project, so I have to check what I forgot to add to the code so it saves. But the sample automation, this one here, it is saving, it is working correctly. So that's the more robust one. But the layer vector is also going to be working fully in a few days, I hope. And everything else is working correctly. So if you're testing this, please let me know if you find something. And then I'm going to address on the next alpha version. And I plan to start doing beta versions even before I have the other layers, so you can test all this stuff that we are adding now. And then this can help me get some exposure and some feedback from users. And also please check my Patreon and my Ko-Fi page to see how you can help me fund this project. You can also pre-order at the Wusik site, wusik.com. And I really appreciate all the help I'm getting so far. So that's it. Thanks for watching.